When was the last time you reviewed your logistics network and technology? If it's been more than 6 months to a year, then this video is for you. Hi, my name is Ryan O'Halloran and I'm with Trinity Logistics and our Design Solutions team. When it comes to logistics and supply chain, adapting to change and uncertainty is not a new challenge. Your ultimate goal has always been to stay ahead of the game and meet customer demand while keeping costs down. The problem is those are moving targets, especially now more than ever. Many companies are still relying on outdated technology and strategies. Now you might be thinking, not even sure if our process is necessarily broken, so who knows if it's really worth the time and effort to try to fix it. Well, that's the question we're going to focus on for the next 8 minutes, as well as this one. If you could strategically reduce your overall spend, and if you could transform your team from being reactive and task-oriented to more proactive and customer-focused, what effect would that have on your company's bottom line? So we'll take a look at a real-life example of a shipper that's maybe surviving but not necessarily thriving in today's logistics environment. And we'll look at some of the unique solutions that Trinity offers that focus on having the right people, process, and technology in order to help transform our customers' supply chain into a competitive advantage for their organization. Afterwards, we'd love the opportunity to talk to you about your unique business needs, specific goals, and challenges. But in the meantime, here are some of the different ways that managed services can benefit you. We'll use a hypothetical example with some of the common themes that we find ourselves often solving for. Let's take a company that has an outbound freight spend of $2.5 million with a mix of LTL and truckload. They also pay for another $300,000 in inbound LTL. They have 3 locations, each utilizing their own unique mix of broker and asset providers. They procure the majority of their freight via the spot market, whether it be over the phone or email or logging into carrier portals, and then they enter as much of that information as they can into Excel spreadsheets. Now, if we were to ask a GM or a warehouse manager at any of these individual DCs, they'd probably say they think they're getting along pretty well with this approach. The assumption, or at least the hope, is that they're getting competitive pricing via the spot market. For the most part, shipments are getting from point A to point B without too many customer complaints, as long as capacity isn't too tight. But if we take a step back, the odds are this approach is far from optimal for the company as a whole. While this is just a hypothetical example, a simple discovery call and data analysis could potentially transform the entire conversation for this shipper. From we feel like we're doing a good job procuring freight to we know we're doing a great job and here's the proof. Or we've identified potential gaps, we know the strategy for closing them, and here's the potential impact to our bottom line if we address and implement the following changes. With the rest of our time, let's dive into this example and look for some common areas for improvement. We're going to focus here on 4 key areas: efficiency, performance, visibility, and business intelligence. The one that kind of jumps off the page here is the lack of efficiency, which is a direct result of a decentralized and very manual approach here in our example. If you have a freight spend of around $1 million or more, which in this case the shipper is well above, Outlook and Excel were just never intended to manage that much freight. Realistically, this shipper probably controls at least a couple hundred orders per month, and who knows how many stakeholders they're paying across the country to micromanage hundreds of quotes and tender, track, and trace each shipment in their own regional or even individual silos. And again, at the end of the day, this probably gets their freight out the door, but how much time is being wasted across this organization? Not to mention, is this entire process even saving them any money when it comes to freight spend? Are they utilizing the right carriers? Would contract pricing cost less than the spot market in the long run? And we'll talk more about that next. But the bottom line here is that this is a reactive strategy focused on individual tasks. In order to optimize their team and their freight, this shipper needs a major shift towards being more proactive and customer focused. This is where Trinity's technology comes into play. All of our design solutions feature a cloud-based TMS platform that creates a centralized freight command center to replace redundant manual processes with automation. Our easy-to-use software helps manage the entire life cycle of an order, and we can even integrate with your order management system to truly optimize your entire workflow. That means no more phone calls, no more typing out shipment details, no more wondering where your freight is at or when it's going to deliver. As mentioned earlier, technology is one of the critical aspects of our solutions and a major catalyst to transform your supply chain. At the end of this video, we'll provide a link where you can register for a brief presentation specifically focused on Trinity's TMS. Now, I hinted at this a minute ago, but increasing efficiency isn't just about getting faster, it's also about getting better. Better team performance, better carrier performance, and ultimately improving bottom line company performance. So in our example, is there room for improvement in these areas? I would say most likely. Surely they have best practices in place in regards to managing costs and trying to hit on-time requirements, but are these strategies effective? Are they current? And can they even be measured? A common gap that our shipper may have with these questions is that the answers probably vary from location to location. Usually some DCs are better at procuring freight than others, And while a siloed strategy may have made sense at one point, companies grow, and as we mentioned earlier, change is constant, which is why a more holistic approach will typically yield better overall cost and carrier performance. This is the process part of our solutions, and data is typically a key driver for the strategy on this one. But just on the surface level, it appears this shipper is most likely spreading their freight too thin across too many carriers or brokers. Spot pricing certainly has its pros and cons, but our team of logistics consultants can quickly diagnose if a shipper is leveraging their overall volumes to the best of their ability. Strategic sourcing and customer-specific pricing can yield savings of 6 to 10% and sometimes more, and it can also have a significant effect on improving on-time performance. Best of all, with Trinity's design solutions, you'll always be able to track these metrics. You'll know exactly how your teams compare to the market and be able to adapt quickly when things do change. And this is a great lead-in to number 3. It's hard to overstate the importance of real-time visibility in today's supply chain. If a customer or a sales rep asks for a delivery ETA, or if the warehouse needs to know what trucks are scheduled to come in, that all falls back on manual processes for the shipper in our example. Picking up the phone, back and forth emails, creating and sharing spreadsheets. And that's just day-to-day visibility. What about all those overall performance metrics and being able to measure your team and your carriers? Unfortunately for our example here, there's just too many roadblocks to effective communication and a lack of overall supply chain awareness. But with the right strategy and the right technology, visibility can quickly shift from a challenge to a strength. And the TMS will do a lot of the heavy lifting here. A TMS essentially acts as a virtual control tower for all logistics updates and communication. With Trinity's solutions, we include unlimited users who are able to access updates and data 24/7 via the cloud. And we can even create push notifications where your team, your warehouse, or even your customers can receive updates for their specific tasks automatically. For most shippers, real-time visibility has fully transitioned from an optional benefit to a business necessity, which is why Trinity brings all of this valuable information right to your fingertips. The last benefit we want to cover here is business intelligence. Data has quickly become one of the world's most valuable resources. In order to make effective decisions, proper data and analysis is needed, especially for logistics strategy or more enterprise-level decisions that reach far beyond the supply chain. But our example here may have a fairly common problem. They may not have access to good, tangible data. This shipper's data is most likely spread across various laptops and email accounts and carrier portals. At best, compiling complete and accurate info is probably a challenge, and we're not even to the real challenge yet: what can be done with all this information? Trinity helps compile and present key analysis in a way that is easy to understand and collaborate on action steps for continuous improvement. Our customers are able to successfully leverage their data to lower cost, improve performance, and drive their company forward. There are many types of helpful reports you can expect, from carrier scorecards to customer profitability reports to network analysis and distribution projects. So there you have a sneak peek into just a few of the primary goals of a managed services solution. If your organization could benefit from increased efficiencies, improved performance, and better visibility and business intelligence, or if you have other specific logistics challenges, Trinity is here to help you devise a plan and put it into action. To schedule a free discovery call or to learn more about Trinity's technology offerings, please click on the link below.